Welcome back to another one of my videos. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different than my usual DIY. Let me show you how I set up for and prepare for a trip. Now for this trip specifically, we're pretty heavily themed for cooking a lot, so we're going to carry a little bit more food than usual. I'll sneak in some modifications along the way too, so hopefully you enjoy. Let's start out in the kitchen area. In the kitchen area, I did put one of these mats here. If you've used this type of RV before with a top mount sink, you'll know the water likes to move around or splash everywhere. So this mat helps absorb the water. Up on top here, this is where we keep the snacks. And you can see that's the soft close door in action. Over on this side here, we keep some pantry. We have some organizers up here. We keep some pantry items, some cooking oil, and looks like some penne noodles. And well, you can see what we have here. Some coffee, and this is our magnetic spice rack. You probably have seen this in the previous videos, but if you haven't done one of these, this is pretty nifty. We use it quite a bit. That's nice to have. And going down below, I haven't shown this before in detail, but this is our top silverware drawer organizer. Now in my previous original tour video, I didn't have all this set up, but I have this large knife organizer. This one turned out really well. We have, literally, we have a couple of fillet knives, a couple of, actually it looks like I'm actually even missing a knife. But organized everything really well. Same thing for the silverware. So how the silverware stores is like this. The forks are here, the spoons are here, put on. And then I have 1, 2, 3, looks like 4. They're not individual containers. This is an expandable kit, but it fits everything in here really nice. I do like that about Winnebago, having these really large drawers, but you can organize everything nicely. Nothing worth really showing in the other drawers. I think I've shown everything before. Underneath the sink, this is where I could probably use some ideas from other people. This is where I store our drinking water. I wish we had a better setup. I'm not the biggest fan of using the bottled water either, but I don't have a better idea. So this is where we keep our bottled water. If somebody else has better ideas, please let us know. We don't drink out of our water tank. If we used our RV more on a full-time basis, I think we would have a permanent water filter set up. The other area is we keep another case of water, drinking water, right about in between the driver and passenger seats. Now, the bedding up on this bunk bed stays, but the extra bedding for we turn this dinette. We travel with a party of 4, so this dinette we convert into a bed, and that bedding stays up here as well as the extra cushion. And over here, this is something a little bit different I haven't shown before, but long time ago I removed the factory ladder that used to be in this corner position and put in this, we'll call it this shoe organizer. But my family wanted a ladder back, and I could not stand that factory ladder. If you have it, I think everyone knows it's that metal steel, really heavy one, and your feet really hurt stepping on it. So I picked up one of these. This is a really light, I don't know if I can get a good angle, but it's a really light aluminum ladder. This one's, I think you can get choices. This one was made in USA. You do have to cut it to the length. I think this was the original mount location. That's what the screw hole I used for the shoe organizer. But with this light ladder, I only need to attach one of these. You don't even need the other one at all, and it's really strong. Now on this curtain, I think somebody has asked me questions before. I never really showed the detail or the installation of that curtain, but it's really simple. This metal bar here, I attached with 2 screws. It's not the screws that it came with, but one of the screws, I think I utilized an existing hole, and I put a new hole here, and same thing over on this side. It just basically 2 little screw holes. hard to see, but there's just 2 little screw holes, and that's it. That bar goes across like that. Now the curtain doesn't hit the floor all the way, and I'm okay with it. This actually curtain works great. And then back here, all I do is I tuck it. I tuck it in between the plastic, so there's no attachments at all. I do really enjoy that curtain. Now going to the other side, let's go in the refrigerator last, but in the cabinets here, this is where I store some extra Kleenex, paper towels, and you can see the kitchen towels. And then in this drawer, I just have some miscellaneous items here. I have some bowls, water kettle, and looks like some medicines. In this drawer here, we have our dog food here, so a pour over coffee maker, pancake mix, and looks like some noodles and rice. And this drawer here is we just keep all of our Ziploc bags, plastic wrap, foil. Down below, I probably really shouldn't show, but this is where my wife keeps her clothes. In the bathroom, let's go over here on what I haven't shown. This is where we keep basically a soap dispenser here. Now this dispenser, or this piece here, doesn't go with this, but it prevents, so while we're driving it doesn't fly off. Could use a much smaller one, but it works. Underneath the sink, I have one of these organizers down here. It just holds a really small hair dryer, and looks like an extra cup down there. But toilet treatment, extra little garbage can. And then I did add these 2 little organizers here, hold some toothpaste, and you can see what's in here. And then inside the closet, let's go in here. There are some things that I didn't really show in detail, but there's that touchless light again. But we hang our towels up there, but I do have 1 shelf. Originally I used to have 2 shelves here, but I got rid of the bottom shelf and I put one of these in. If you haven't seen this before, it's on a little hook that hangs, but this is basically our dirty laundry we put in here. And you can take this out, cinch this up, and it turns into a backpack, so you can just wear this as a backpack. It holds a lot of clothes, so this is really convenient to have basically a hamper in there. We do have these hangers too. I haven't shown these before, but it's like an anti-skid hanger, and this is really for towels, so you can dry your towels easier. When it's on these hooks here, of course if they're bunched up they don't dry really well, so you can take it off there, put it on one of these hangers, and if this closet is full you can move it on over here. Now this is where we hang a towel here. That's for your feet when you get out of the shower. I've shown everything in the shower before, but I do have this little corner rack here, and this keeps we have all these different types of soap, and looks like a loofah here, but it keeps everything organized so we don't have to take things down when we're driving down the road. It doesn't fit the corners very well. You can even see here, it's not attached to this section because the 90 degrees, it's really not a true 90 degrees, so it doesn't fit the best, but we've had it there for a long time, so it does work. Going for underneath the couch, let me see if I have anything underneath the couch. We just have some extra hats, and really that's it. This little stool. The stool is handy to have, of course, but we do put extra laundry here. I do have a couple of extra laundry bags here, so if we're on a really long trip, that bag that I showed you in the closet, we'll empty some of it out, put them in these laundry bags, and store the dirty laundry underneath the couch. Okay. And I haven't shown my storage bins. They're all about the same. I think this one just carries still extra tools and supplies. I'll have to give you a breakdown of what I carry in the future. But on this one, not much has changed. We do keep even extra paper towels, paper plates, toilet paper, just miscellaneous items, some kids games. But that's really it. It's not really that full. It looks full, but it's pretty empty except that little corner in the back. These upper cabinets here, ideally we could probably put the clothes in there, but these upper cabinets, we want to be able to get into the clothes easier. So we actually keep our clothes. One of the kids keeps their clothes in there. I keep my clothes in here, and the other kid keeps their clothes in there. And let's close these up here. And it's not the ideal location, but it's really because it's convenient. We don't have to dig things. People don't have to shuffle out of the way to get at those clothes. Kids keep their little Nintendo Switch here. And lastly, we'll go in the refrigerator. I won't show you the outside. The outside I'm going to do a total different gear review. But let's go in the refrigerator and see what we have. Let's start out with the freezer. So this, before I open it up, you'll see my temperature gauge in here. This is my refrigerator. This is outside, and this is the indoor temperature. I do have the AC cranking right now, but it is pretty hot outside, so it cannot keep up. But let's look at the refrigerator, or the freezer first. Now the freezer is a pretty good size. Again, we're going on a big trip, so we don't normally fill the freezer up this much, but you'll see, looks like we have a few packages of ice, some bread dough here, the world's most expensive brats. If you ever want to know where to get the world's most expensive brats, write a comment and I'll let you know where you can get it. This looks like some frozen pizza, some hot dog buns, but some steaks here, but big packages of chicken, and it looks like these are just some short ribs and bacon here, and then some box of ice cream here. Again, no judging. All the junk food is because of the kids, not me. All right, let's go into the refrigerator. We do really like the size of this refrigerator, and if you look up on the top shelf, obviously the top shelf usually gets the coldest, but we do have some eggs. We eat a lot of eggs. Here's just a loaf of cheap bread, some cheese here, and looks like it's just some stuff we're ready to make for lunch here. But if you look way in the back, I have this soda, basically this soda organizer, and I put another one back here, and it's for two purposes. Because the soda, takes up a lot of space. Soda, well, I think this one's beer, and this one's soda. But the big reason we have this here is it acts as a barrier to the back of the refrigerator. Now this compressor refrigerator, I can get it pretty cold. And just like any refrigerator, we have cold spots and hot spots, and the cold spots in the rear is really cold, and if you keep things in the rear, it'll have a tendency to frost over or freeze, so any kind of vegetables, not really good. But this gives it a good barrier, and it also keeps your beverages like basically ice cold. There is a little room to store things on top of each one as well. But this is a latest edition. We really like these just to keep that barrier of that freezing cold, freezing from your vegetables or your fruit from freezing. Then down below, this is looks like we keep a lot of vegetables. We prep a lot of vegetables before we go on the trip, as well as in the drawers we have a lot of vegetables and fruit. Both, they're pretty much filled up. And then in the doors, same thing. This DC refrigerator, now we can put in all these condiments, and you can see all the stuff we can keep in here. But I do have this little fan here, same thing. Even though I have that cold barrier in the back, there's a lot of items in this refrigerator, so that fan helps to circulate the air around. But you can see it's 102 degrees outside and 38 inside the refrigerator. So pretty good in my opinion. And it's not even at the coldest setting. That's the refrigerator's at a 4. I can crank it up to a 5. The freezer, I have it at a 4 also. But plenty cold on 4 in 102 degrees, up to 110. The 4 is fine. I've never had to use 5. And then when we go to a little cooler place, I actually have to turn the refrigerator down to a 3. Otherwise, things will get way too cold in there, which is a good problem to have. But that in a nutshell is how we organize everything. I think I've shown this drawer before. This is where we keep some bowls, plates. So let's look in this drawer here. I do have some pans stacked up in here, but if you really look, I have a rice maker here, and anything that has a cover that rattles around, we put these rubber bands on. really nice so things don't just rattle like crazy. And even if it only has one side where you can put the rubber band, you can see how we made it work on this one. So just because you don't have a handle on the other side, you can still make it work. You know, you can still take the cover off, but just by doing this, it keeps it from rattling. I'll put some links to these rubber bands, but they're really handy. Here, we have the rubber bands here even, you can see. But now you've seen inside my cabinets and, you know, obviously how we organize things. And maybe this gave you some ideas on how to organize for your trip. But I would really like any suggestions you have for the water, because I cannot stand carrying all this water. It's my worst item to do is lug that water, basically that entire case from the house into the RV. And of course the bottles are wasteful on top of it. So if you have some better ideas on how to store water, drinking water that is, I would really like to know. And that's really it. Well, it's probably not it. In the bathroom, let's go in the bathroom. I didn't show you the upper medicine cabinet here. Medicine cabinet here, we do keep some extra toilet paper up there. We do have this little storage container to keep things from flying. I wish I had a better one. I don't like this one as much, but it does fit. But you can see it goes from high to low. It'd be nicer if the walls were a little bit taller to keep everything in from ever escaping. That's really it, is how we organize before we go on a trip. So if you have any other tips or suggestions, please let me know. And like I mentioned, I'll do a whole different video on the exterior gear we normally carry. For the most part, we do carry the same gear on the outside, unless if, you know, the campground is a little bit different than what we're used to, and we'll switch things up a little bit. But I will do a complete different tour on the gear we carry. If you like videos like this, and if you've made it all the way to the end, please make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. If not, no big deal. And I'll catch you on the next video.